about 8 miles east of Canterbury on the Sandwich Road, and this year they're celebrating their 700th anniversary. I'm talking to the vicar, the Reverend Clive Barlow. Clive, can you tell me a little bit about the history of it? Not too much, because I know we're going to be talking to your local historian later on, Mr. Downs, but briefly, you've got two villages here combined into one, haven't you?
Yes, Ash is a united benefice of Ash with Westmarsh, and civilly it's one parish. Ecclesiastically we're designated St Nicholas Ash with Westmarsh.
But so the celebrations do extend into both villages?
They do indeed, yes.
Do in fact the celebrations extend into the whole village? I mean, is it a case of the church being an integral part of the village to an extent that the people who don't normally come to church still might be involved in the celebrations?
I've been very encouraged by the way in which organisations in the village, and indeed individuals, have wanted to share in this celebration, which aims to draw together both church and community.
You're also very ecumenically minded, aren't you?
We are indeed. Very good links with the United Reformed Church, which has its own building here, and our main services of the festival year have been and are being ecumenical occasions.
I see that you had the Roman Catholic Bishop in Kent, the Right Reverend John Jukes, the opening service in January.
That indeed was a great occasion, particularly as Archbishop Peckham, who gave us our independence, was a Franciscan, and John Jukes took the trouble of coming dressed in his own Franciscan habit and bringing with him extracts from Peckham's journals, giving Ash its independence.
I see. Also, you had Lord Coggan, too, in May.
Yes,
month.
Lord Coggan came to a great service of thanksgiving for marriage and family life. I estimate that some 5,000 couples have been married here since 1282, and we invited the 92 couples married in the last 7 years in Ash Church to a great service of thanksgiving, and the church was full and many couples came.
Looking at your programme for the whole year, it's very adventurous. Lots of things going on, I see. In fact, you've got a children's kite festival here, which, as we speak, is still in the future, but by the time the programme is broadcast, of course, will be in the past. How can you be sure you're going to get wind when you have a kite festival?
Well, very rarely does the wind not blow in this corner of Kent, as its residents will tell you as you meet them. The kite is in many ways a symbol of God the Holy Spirit working in us, in his world, and that's why we've chosen Whit Sunday for this kite festival.
Well, now here we are on the first Sunday of your festival fortnight, the central fortnight of the whole year, as it were. What are you actually doing in the next 2 weeks?
Goodness, a variety of activities. The Flower Festival, a youth sports and fete with a marching bands competition, a great deal of history within the church building and a heraldry walkabout taking place, our organist giving a recital, and then the recently formed Ash Players are putting on a production in the village hall.
What sort of standard did they manage to reach?
Well, they've really just begun, but the first production last year was very good, and we hope that they'll be well supported in this play that they're doing. All our worship during the festival fortnight is shared with our United Reformed Church friends, and indeed with any other Christians in the village who care to take part. And the children of our church-aided school have prepared a great historical pageant, which they're going to present through the streets of the village and then in the school grounds. And at the end of the festival fortnight, the village carnival, which is an annual event, but this year has a festival year flavour to it. And on the 4th of July, keeping the 700th anniversary of our independence, a service of thanksgiving to which we shall welcome our own bishop, the Bishop of Dover. And I think I would want to emphasise that this has been a great year of thanksgiving and celebration. People have asked, what is the purpose of it? What are you raising funds for? Which is a question the vicar gets asked all the time. This hasn't been a fundraising year. It's been a fun year, and that's been its emphasis. And I hope that people have enjoyed themselves here, and those who've come as visitors will be enjoying themselves as well.
Well, I'm sure it has been and will continue to be a great success, Clive. What would you like to choose for music?
I'd like Ella Fitzgerald's record of People. All our celebrations have involved people, and that's what our life within the church and within the community is really all about.
This bakery is a nice romantic name, isn't it? That, in fact, is the name of the baker's shop in the street here in Ash, right beneath the church, as you would expect from the name, and I'm talking to Mrs. Eileen Turmaine, who, together with her husband and 2 sons, runs the bakery business here. Eileen, how do you spread the work between the 4 of you?
My younger son does the bread making. He gets up very early in the morning and makes the doughs.
What time does he get up?
About 4:20. And then our other son and I get up and assist him. All our bread is hand moulded, and we have it hot, ready to go into the shop and onto the vans.
When you say hand moulded, is that an advantage over a machine mould?
Oh yes, you get a much nicer textured loaf, and it's really crusty, you know.
Okay, so your husband looks after the confectionery side,
yes.
Your son does the bread,
Yes.
Your other son, the older son?
He supervises the rounds and does a round.
And you?
And I do the bookkeeping, supervise the shop, and generally help run the business.
You're dab hand with bookkeeping, are you?
Yes.
Did you pick it up as you went along?
Yes, mainly, yes.
But you were in the nappy
I was in the nappy during the war, and I learnt a bit about bookkeeping, which sort of gave me some insight as to what to do, and I've picked it up from there.
Is it very time-consuming, running a bakery business, more than perhaps running a fruit shop?
Oh, yes, you're never finished. You can always find something to do.
And getting up early, too. You get up early as well,
Oh,
don't
yes, about 10 to 5 most mornings.
How many loaves of bread do you bake in a day, roughly?
I should think on average about 300, 350, probably more. It just depends on how busy we are.
You've got to anticipate the needs of your customers, haven't
Yes.
you? How do you do that?
We get a rough idea. We know roughly how many customers we have, and we get used to their needs. At holiday times, we send out leaflets to all our customers, order forms, and they fill them in, and we judge from there how many loaves we want. We don't usually go far wrong.
Doesn't the cost of the order forms offset by what you might lose on overbaking of bread?
Yes, it does, yes. Yes, you're quite right, it does.
So is there any point in doing it?
Oh, yes, it cuts down the wastage quite a lot.
Good public relations,
And
too.
it's good public relations, yes. We look on all our customers of our friends.
Now, you mentioned rounds just now. That's unusual, isn't it, to have a bread round in these days?
Yes, I suppose it is.
How many rounds are there?
Well, we have 3 vans on the road, and so we do around each van does a round on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Then they do another one on Tuesday and Thursday, and on Saturday some of the round overlaps. You see, we do a 3-day delivery, a 4-day delivery, and a 6-day delivery.
I'm blinded by science. I can't keep track of that. Can we just come back to your husband briefly, who you say does the confectionery? That means cakes and things.
Yes. He makes all the small fancies, does the birthday cakes, the wedding cakes, christening cakes.
And the icing as
well? Oh, yes.
Did he have special training for this?
Yes, well, you see, after the war, when he was demobilised, he worked at Dover Co-op, and they ran, for a short while, they ran a night class where they learnt to do their confession, and he got it from there, and he's a very adept man. He can turn his hand to most things, yes.
For most of us, the smell of fresh, crusty bread is lovely. You know, walk past a baker's shop and there it comes wafting out.
Yes.
Is that, in fact, pretty boring smell for you that reminds you of work?
You get to a stage where you don't smell it. Yes.
What a pity.
You only smell it if you're away from it,
You don't know what you're missing.
if you bake at an unusual time. Yeah. Yes. You see, you might get a rush order.
Yeah, I understand.
And you do a bake, and then you smell the bread, and you think, oh, that's nice.
Oh, you still think it's nice?
Oh,
Good.
yes,
Good.
yes, yes.
Okay, Eileen,
yes.
what would you like to choose for music now while you're baking in the morning?
I would like Spartacus from
The love theme from Spartacus.
From the Oneidin line.
Mr. David Downs is many things in the village of Ash. He's the local solicitor, he's a clerk to the parish council, reader in Canterbury Diocese, he's president of the Kent Association of Parish Councils, and he's also a historian, as you might have gathered from my saying that he's the parish archivist, and he also edits the local church community magazine. Now, as the parish archivist, this means that you retain all the records, which go back how many years?
Something over 400 years. The first records, like most parish records, are the parish registers of baptisms, marriages and deaths, which go back in this parish to 1558. But we've got poor law records going back to 1601, church wardens' accounts to 1634, vestry minutes to 1704. They're a very, very fine, quite exceptional collection of parish records.
But of course the church, as we know, goes back to 1282, 700 years. Can you just tell us what exactly happened 700 years ago, which you're celebrating in the village this year?
This parish, until 1282, formed part of the great archiepiscopal manor and parish of Wingham. In that year, Archbishop Peckham, adopting a suggestion made by his predecessor, decided to divide the parish because he said it was a vineyard too large for the care of one person, into 6, and to found in Wingham a college of canons. And to that college he gave the charge of the parish of Ash. It was for them to appoint the vicar. And that they continued to do until the Reformation in 1530, when there were, I may say, complaints that they had ceased to fulfill that function properly, that there had been 15 curates in as many months, and so on.
What is the most interesting event that has happened in Ash over the period of records?
Well, that's a very difficult question to answer, and I hope what I say won't prejudge what is going to appear in the magazine over the next few months. But I suppose the most colourful incident must be the time when the vicar of Ash, George Glegg, in 1830, rode down with his church warden, George Quested, famous Ash name, to the outskirts of the parish to quell a riot where the agricultural labourers were burning the ricks of the extremely unpopular and hated overseer of the poor for the parish, who was undoubtedly a very hard man, one of whose most reprehensible, or at any rate, one of his most disliked activities was to put the paupers of the parish up to auction every Thursday, their labour for the following week.
So he was a vicar of very strong personality, actually getting involved in local politics to a certain extent.
Well, Glegg was never frightened of getting involved in politics. He was a high Tory. He had served as a soldier with the Duke of Wellington in the Peninsula, and was a close friend of the Duke's, who was at that time, of course, Lord Warden of the Cinque Ports and living for much of his time at Walmer.
Very close by. Good, well, it's very interesting. I just wish we had more time to go into all the history of the place. Thank you very much indeed. Would you like to choose some music for us?
I only know one tune, and to play that would cause consternation, because if we've got any listeners, they'd either stand to attention or switch off and go to bed. So I feel we must concentrate on the words. Now, I've chosen a piece especially for my unmarried daughter Sarah, who couldn't, I think, possibly yet be mistaken for 35, even with the light behind her. It's the judge's song from Gilbert and Sullivan's Trial by Jury.
We began the programme today in Checker Lane in Ash when I was speaking to the vicar, Clive Barlow, and I've come back to Checker Lane again, incidentally called Checker Lane because the Checker Inn is on the corner, and we'll be going to the Checker Inn in a little while.
But that's not the reason it's called the Checker Lane.
Right.
It's the manor of Checker was a great family of septvans who owned land here for many hundred years in the past, and there was Checker Court is one of our manor houses. And all that property came around here, and that was called Checker Lane because of that.
Well, I'm very glad I said that in your presence.
The inn was no doubt called after the lane, not the lane after the inn.
Right. Thank you very much for putting me right. I'm talking to Miss Winifred Tower now, actually, who interjected there very conveniently to put me right. You are, or you were, a magistrate before you retired, Miss Tower.
Yes.
And you're very interested in local people and affairs, I know. And you're now 88.
That's right.
As a magistrate, as an ex-magistrate, do you see many differences between the way that the law works at a local level now and the way it worked when you first became a magistrate?
Well, I don't now see it from inside, of course, because I'm no longer a magistrate, so I don't know how it works. I don't get the results of courts or hear about cases like I did.
But you still...
I know that some of my ex-fellow magistrates feel that it's more... some of the recent legislation has not been all for the best. It's because the powers are much reduced. And
until their hands are tied somewhat.
And of course, again, economy, like everything else.
But do you feel that young people, as far as young people are concerned, magistrates have their hands tied much more than they used to?
Yes, I do.
What do you think is the answer to the problem? Is there an answer to the problem of vandalism?
Well, at the age of 88, I think one would be rather foolish to give any suggestions of how you deal with the young. Difficult enough when you've got to. When you haven't, when you've retired, I think you're best to keep out.
That's probably a very wise answer. Now, you're involved with local affairs and local people, I know, and you wanted to put on record what a friendly place Ash is.
Yes, as it is. I think it's a very friendly village and a very good community spirit, and people are very happy together. We do a lot of things in the village. We used, of course, to do more of our own entertainment, and then a curious situation occurred when TV appeared first, and all our local theatricals and our whist drives and all the rest of it went flat because everybody sat at home and looked at that little box. And then after quite a short time they got fed up with that, and now I'm more or less back, and it's a rather different standard of things I think we have now. But we're now back to amusing ourselves and doing things for ourselves again like we used to. We still do a lot of things together. And, well, as you see from our programme this year, we hardly draw breath this year all the way through of all the things we're going to do and have already done. And everybody's really pleased about it all.
Can I come back to television again? Do you feel, as many people do, that television and the communications media generally are responsible for many of our ills today? I don't want to put words into your mouth.
No, well, it's very ordinary to say that. Of course, I think they are to some extent. But of course, I have not got in television, so I can't really, ought not to speak strictly about it. But I think the press and altogether, I think it's not always the right tone somehow. I mean, we're all so depressed these days, and we never report anything nice. That's why it's nice to have something like this, like our festival, something nice to think about instead of the gloom. Gloom and doom which we all are surrounded by, necessarily in some sense.
Right, Miss Tower, well, thank you very much indeed for talking to us. Would you like to choose some music now, please? Something to elevate us, perhaps, above the gloom and the doom?
Well, I'd like it to be something to do with our festival and so on, and I should like to, if I could, to have Vaughan Williams' Lark Ascending, because this is a great lark country around here, all this open country, the whole of our parish consists of mainly, and the larks are quite a feature. And I doubt the larks were sang when the Romans were here, and I know they sang all through the Battle of Britain, and they're something nice to think about, I think.
Well, I said just now when I was talking to Miss Tower that she lived in Checker Lane, and she told us why it's called Checker Lane. I also mentioned the Checker Inn at the end of the road, and that's where I am now talking to the licensee, Bill Wayman. Bill, how long have you been here?
We've been here for 9 years, just over 9 years.
Now, this is the first pub you've actually run.
Yes, well, it's the first licence that I've held, yes.
You enjoy being a licensee in a pub?
Very enjoy it. It's a way of life rather than a job.
You believe that a pub can be as much a part of the community as a church?
Yes, I would agree with that, because there are many people who go to church and don't come to the pubs. There are many people who come to the pubs and don't go to the church, and there are a lot of people who do both. I sincerely think that we can be as useful a service to the community as some of the social services, etc.
In what way? Can you give me a for instance?
Possibly retired people who come in for early morning sessions. Maybe they're missing for a couple of days. You wonder what's happened to them, so you make inquiries. You may be able to help. There may be something wrong and nobody's known about it.
Do you actually find yourself liaising with other people, the vicar or whoever?
Yes.
Well, you might mention it to him, you'll say, Mr. and Mrs. Bloggs haven't been in, I wonder what's cooking,
Yes, one does tend to do that sort of thing, yes.
And he'll go off and investigate.
Probably, possibly, yes.
You must hear have lots of amusing experiences running a pub. Can you think of any offhand?
Well, that's a nasty question, because most of the most amusing stories that we or concern the pub might implicate other people. Some of them involve language to a large extent, which obviously I can't repeat on the air at the moment, but we've had some hilarious moments, yes. Yeah.
What about things like charity work, which I know pubs obviously get involved in?
Yes, throughout the land, in fact, I forget the actual figures that are being quoted as the number of millions that the pubs are involved with. We ourselves here, we like to support the guide dogs for the blind. And so far we've managed 3 dogs, and we're on our 4th dog now.
Of course, you do liaise with the vicar in other ways, don't you, actually? Because I know that he's produced, or somebody has produced, these mugs for your festival year, beakers with festival year 1282 to 1982 on it, and you managed to get rid of 50 of these in the first weekend.
That is correct, yes. I think it rather shook us, actually, but there was a terrific response to it. And we've subsequently ordered some more.
How much are you, as the licensee, involved in the festival year? I mean, are you a churchgoer? I suppose you can't very well be, can you? Run a pub and go to church.
Well, one can be, obviously, yes. I'm confirmed and, I do support the church, but I'm not as active as other people are. I like to support in the background rather than the foreground.
Yeah. So what role are you playing in the festival year?
Not a lot, unfortunately, but we are going to try and organise something between the 4 pubs in the village here, possibly along the lines of sort of barrel rolling down the street, or, something like this. It'll be amusing rather than sort of serious.
And meanwhile, you can still sell the mugs.
Yes,
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Good,
yes.
Thank you very much indeed, Bill. Would you like to choose some music, please?
Well, yes, I would. I'd like White a Shade of Pale by Procol Harum, please.
I'm now in Queen's Road in Ash, which Mrs. Sarah Miller, to whom I'm now talking, tells me was once known as Sandy Road or Sandy Lane, was it, Sarah?
Sandy Lane.
Sandy Lane, because of the sand pits which were here.
Yes, there were sand pits in Sandy Lane.
And which were actually on the site of your house?
Yes, that's right.
Why is the road now called Queen's Road?
I believe they changed the name to Queen's Road at the time of Queen Victoria's Jubilee, and it's been Queen's Road.
Queen's Road ever since.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, you've spent most of your life here in Ash. You came here when you were 3.
Yes.
So you're sort of Ash bred, as it were.
Well, almost.
You like living here? Have you ever felt, well, here we are, stuck away in the middle of Kent. I'd like to go somewhere exciting.
Not really. When we were first married, we moved to Wingham for 4 years, but then moved back to Ash, and we've been here ever since.
And you just enjoy being part of it?
Yes.
Because you're especially part of it because you're the secretary at the school, aren't you? Or a school?
Yes, at Woodinley House School, which is a prep school in the village.
A private school?
Private school, yes.
How do you feel about the contest, if I may call it that, between private and state education?
I don't really think it's a contest. I think there's a place for both. And I think they both rub along very well in the same village.
Yeah. And, of course, the working at a school gives you the opportunity to have holidays off with your own children.
Yes,
You've
it
got
does.
3 children.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
Tell me about the Ash United Charities, of which you're the clerk. Makes you sound like somebody who sits on a high stool with a quill, you know, Dickensian rather. But what is your actual role in the United Charities?
Mainly the administration. There's a group of trustees, 5 trustees, who administer the trust, and I'm the clerk to them. The charities are 2 groups of charities, really. One is a group of charities called the Benevolent Charities, which are a group of rather odd little charities which have all been bundled together.
Things like what?
Well, there used to be an overcoat charity for people who needed overcoats in the parish of Ash. A lot of them go back a very long way, talking about sort of 1600 and something.
These are mostly bequests, presumably,
Yes.
in the past.
Yes. And the other half of the charity is 4 almshouses, which are next door to us, which are lived in by elderly people in the parish.
As the clerk, is this paid work or voluntary?
No, voluntary.
So what do you actually have to do?
Well, write any letters that are necessary to council, or when new people are appointed next, in the almshouses, Resthaven. Just the administrative work, really, which goes with all that involves.
Now, you're not actually yourself involved with the festival year, are you, in an active way?
No.
Although your children obviously will be participating through the school.
Yes, the children will be participating through Sunday school.
One interesting thing, though, is your husband, although he isn't involved either, is a bell ringer at the church.
Yes, he is. He took it up about 3 years ago. He got interested, and he's steeplekeeper.
Steeplekeeper, official steeplekeeper.
Official steeplekeeper.
What does he have to do? Climb up to the top and sort of keep the top polished or something?
He has to mend any broken stays, which people unfortunately break from time to time.
This is part of the bell equipment, is it?
Yes, it's the top of the bell, to stop the bell going right over.
Flipping right over, and he going up on the end of the rope.
That's
yes.
right. And generally looking after the steeple. He seems to spend quite a lot of time up there.
Do you sit at home when the bells are ringing and think, my hero, making music for me on the bells?
I don't usually have that much time to sit down and listening.
Fine, okay, Sarah, thank you very much indeed. Would you like to choose some music for us now, please?
Yes, I'd very much like to hear Handel's Arrival of the Queen of Sheba, if possible played by the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra.
Okay, is there a special reason for that?
Not really, no, I just like it.
Just like it.
Yes.
I'm driven out of Ash now to a place called Hammill, to Hammill Court Farm. It's about 4 or 5 miles outside the centre of Ash, and I'm talking to Mr. Gerald Stickells, who has farmed in Ash all his life. He's now 82, he'll be 83 in August, and he's living out here because he's living with his daughter at the moment. Mr. Stickels, what sort of farming is done in Ash? Is it mostly arable, is it sheep, or what?
The land is very productive, medium low soil, and when it first came to, it was mostly devoted to livestock and grain growing. Medium land is good for grain or vegetables or fruit, and since well, I think it started soon after the 1914 war. It has developed into a great fruit growing area. It grows good quality fruit. We grow a range of crops, but we in particular are very varied. We have a herd of beef cattle. We keep sheep, both Dorset Down and...
That's a breed of sheep, is it?
Breed of sheep,
Yeah.
the Dorset Down and the Kent Running Marsh.
Are they bred for their wool or for meat?
They're bred for their meat, but we do have a pedigree flock of these two, and we breed for rams, you see.
Now, farming today, of course, is a lot different from when you first started doing it. It's become much more scientific in a way. Do you go along with the new scientific methods?
Well, we have to, but there was a lot to be said for the old way we used to go on. We always seem to have time to do our work, and yet we always seem to have always had time, and now it's all rush and go.
If you were starting again now, knowing what you know now, would you be a farmer again?
I think, no doubt I would, but we are inclined to think that the civil servants, they get the cream on it these days.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Stickels. Would you like to choose some music for us, please?
Yes, I'd like to choose Father Thames Keeps Rolling Along.
Not very far from Ash down to Sandwich, and indeed I've come down to Sandwich now to Pfizer's, the International Pharmaceuticals Company, to talk to Mrs. Nina Vallack, who works here in the department which deals with the purchase of raw materials. Is that right, Nina?
Materials Control Department, that's right. It is concerned with the purchase of raw materials and items for maintenance of the plant generally.
Now, in Ash, you have a number of roles. I know that you're the president of the WI
That's
locally.
right.
How much of your time does that take?
Surprisingly, quite a bit. Yes, we're a pretty active WI and we like to do quite a bit apart from our monthly meetings. We're out and about quite a bit. Fairly time consuming, but very rewarding.
You're also chairman of the Village Hall Committee, and of course the Village Hall has recently been rebuilt, hasn't it? And you were the mastermind, so Clive Barlow, the vicar, tells me, of the raising of £51,000 for that. So, first of all, the Village Hall Committee. What does the Village Hall Committee have to do as a committee?
Well, it is the management committee, therefore, obviously, it manages the affairs of the Village Hall. It consists of 12 elected members from the general public in the village, plus a representative from each of the organisations who regularly use the hall. So we're a fairly large committee, but we all work very hard and we all get on very well.
What's the secret of your success then in raising £51,000? Everybody wants to know how to make money, so how do you do it?
Well, first of all, I couldn't say that I was the mastermind. Being chairman of the committee, fair enough, but certainly not the mastermind. Well, you have to take your courage in both hands and be quite sure in your mind that what you're doing is right. And once you start, then I think the thing just gathers momentum and we go on. We had a certain amount of cash in hand to start with, but we were very fortunate. I think possibly we did it at the best financial time, and we got maximum grants from the Ash Parish Council, the Dover District Council, from their lottery fund, and from the Department of Education and Science. And we also had the benefit of a very good legacy from a local person, and that left us with about £10,000, which we had to raise on our own. We ran dances, sponsored slims, we had local gardens open to the public.
All the usual things.
Yes, that's right. And I think every organisation who does regularly use the village hall tried to do something to help us as well. And it was surprising how the money just kept coming in.
It's a very flexible hall too, isn't it? You can have, 3, 4 things going on simultaneously?
We could have up to 3, yes. We've got the main hall, which seats about 150. And then we've got a very nice stage area, for which we've just purchased some rather super new velvet curtains, which we're very proud of. That can be shut off and used as a small room. And then we have what we call the library. The county library is a permanent fixture there, meets 3 times a week, and that's a very nice sort of committee room with comfortable chairs and carpets on the floor.
Now, as a village, you've entered the Best Kept Village in Kent competition this year, haven't you? Having come second in it 2 years ago, is that right?
Oh no, more than that, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. That was our best effort ever. But yes, we have entered again this year, and let's hope that we can, perhaps in festival year, do something pretty grand and win the competition. I think plenty of people are taking a hand in it, keeping various parts of the village tidy, and really it is a question of community effort. The most marks of all in the competition come for that, and it's up to us, but we never know when the judges are coming, so we've really got to
They
keep
prowl around in secret.
Oh, yes, yes. They've either been and thrown you out of the competition entirely, or else you've done well and you're in, but you never know.
Well, it would be very nice if in your 700th centenary year you could actually win it.
It would be grand. It would be grand.
Is it particularly well kept? I didn't notice much litter around as I was coming through.
Well, it has its moments, I'm afraid, when it looks pretty dreadful, but we've got a very good street sweeper who does his best, and as I say, it is up to the individual to keep their own patch tidy, and that's it.
Good. Right, Ian, thank you very much indeed. What would you like for music?
Well, I thought about this and remind me of a nice holiday in Scotland, Fingal's Cave.